Sometimes telling your story means letting the monsters out of the closet and finally letting them go. So, today we're talking about healing through creativity, and we're just going to get a little check in update about my progress and how I'm doing with writing my chapter in the Believe anthology. Hey, Francine, how's it going this week?
Hey, Heidi. Everything is absolutely fantastic over here. I can't wait to hear how your story is coming because I know it brought up some vulnerable issues for you. And I know that happened to me too when I was writing. There's a lot of healing involved in writing your story.
So, we should have talked about this before we went on the air, but we were talking about this new writing courses that you have going on. Do you want to
Oh,
tell people about that before we totally get into it? Because
yes.
I think they should know.
Yes. Okay. My new writing courses are broke down into three different levels. There's the first level, which is what Heidi's been doing right now. We do the idea incubator where you just roll that idea around and get feedback on it. We do character development. Even when it's your own story, you have characters. You are a character, and all of the other people in your story are the characters. And we develop these characters to give them depth so the audience could really feel how they interact with you in the story. And that's level one. Level two, we take you from I want to write my story and I don't know how to getting it mapped out in 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, you will have an idea of what each chapter is and focus your story like pretty much where Heidi is right now, starting to get focused on what she wants to write about. And then the third one, that's my favorite one, because the third one is where you want to join us and be part of this movement that we're developing in the Believe anthology. I don't care which one you get into, but if you want to share your story and inspire people, this is a great place to start. So, what I want to do now is let's give them just a real short example of what the idea incubator is like.
Okay.
So, Heidi, you had this idea for a story. Can you
Mhm.
tell everybody what your initial idea was, what you wanted to write about, and then tell us some of the blocks you had in trying to write it?
Okay. So, I had been wanting to write this particular story for a while. The main reasons I had not is because I didn't see how it fit into my plan and my goals for the future for the next year, whatever. Until you came along, Francine. And you were like, oh, hey, no problem. Like, we could just do this as a collaboration. And so that was really the first hurdle that got removed is the everything that comes after the story is told. Where does that go? Because that was enough of an excuse to just stop me from even really looking at it. But now we break it down into like a smaller piece. And what I also like about this is it's not so overwhelming that I'm going to sit down and write a novel about it because that seemed, well, you'll understand. You'll understand as I keep keep going. That seemed way too overwhelming. So that would have been the second thing that really stopped me is, I know people like short stories. So it's like I could keep it to 100 pages. That might be good. But maybe we just test the waters and see how the story goes first. So knowing that I only have
Build your confidence.
to, yes, knowing that I only have to do 1,500 words, that's great. I do 1,500 words all day long. I'm doing public speaking. I'm doing presentations. I'm writing blog posts. I'm doing all this stuff. I do that all the time. Got it. So, it's kind of like the story means so much to me. And it's what I feel like has held me back the longest in my life. And so there was also a lot of perfectionism around how the story was going to be told. So when we were first like, okay, we're going to do this, and I thought, yes, I'm going to write this story. Then what kept me from doing anything toward it for like a couple months is just the thought that I had to have it just so.
And what did we learn about that? It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yes, and you never ever get started if that is how you like look at it going into it. So one day I felt inspired, and here's my story so far. That's it. It's like a month of work right there. But you guys aren't really seeing the whole picture. So I do have a pretty clear picture of how I wanted the story to start. I figured it should start with a song because I love music and my life is all about music. And so I'm like, okay, this is where the story needs to start, because really to understand the painful place that I was in, there was a reason I was singing this song in the shower where the story is going to begin. And so I thought that as a way that I could take these scribbly notes right here and start turning it more into a cohesive story, I would listen to the song. And just like those songs you listen to and you just go right back to that time period where you've heard that song before. I mean, a lot of times they're happy, joyful times, but in this case, it was not for me. And it just triggered all of that trauma and that fear and the, oh my goodness, I don't have a chance to make something of myself. I totally messed up. And now I'm paying for it, and it's more than I can endure.
And when we talked about that during the idea incubator, you thought you had to add every minute detail of how you got there and how you were feeling going through it. And the feedback you got was you need some of it, but not all of it. And the reason why feedback is so powerful, because when you have a story that's this big, but you only have this much space to tell your story, you have to figure out what resonates with the audience. So Heidi, you learned that, yeah, you have to tell some of that messiness, but your audience really wants to understand where you started, but what they really want to know is how did you climb up out of it? So that's how she was able to focus this story into that nice 1,500 word story. Or even if you are wanting to write a whole book, if it's your memoir, a memoir is just a chunk of time out of your life. nobody can write a book about their whole life. There's just too much there. You have to choose one segment, but your audience doesn't want to be stuck in the yuck. They want to say, okay, there was yuck there, but how did you get out of it?
And you just expressed like the biggest challenge that got me stuck. Because initially I thought it would just be too hard to write like a whole long book. Oh, no, no. That's pretty easy when you just start spewing out all kinds of stuff. But when you start actually condensing it down to what's really important here and what is the lesson that I took away from this experience. And so these scribbles turned into, I got a new journal. I got this journal on September 13th. And I have filled all of these pages up to, I'm getting really close, up to, oh, right here. So it's almost time to get another journal. And so this helped me open up the door to that inner closet where I realized that there was a monster hiding in there. Oh gosh, he was rotting really bad, real ugly. And it just was traumatizing my inner child like all the time. I had no idea. But when I was able to really write down and face this monster that I just kind of put aside, I saw how it came out in different areas in my life now, through ways that I do business, through ways that I talk to people, and ways that I talk to myself and I treat myself. And that one was especially big because that monster was just terrorizing me in the way that was leading me to just unending burnout. And that burnout just leads to bad health. And stopping every day, I got into a great habit because of this, Francine. Just for 15, 20 minutes a day, I sit down and I face that monster. And if I had to face it the day before and I saw it come out, I say, okay, how did we show up for battle this time? Did it go the way that we wanted it to? Did we learn the lesson? And so the cool part about this story is it finally is coming to a close. I'm writing the ending right now as we speak. I thought the story was done when I started writing the story, but I discovered that there were still a few monsters that needed to be let go.
If you don't feel it, you can't heal it. And that's what I love about the writing journey. Even in writing my children's books, I have come across some memories that needed healing. Like I was writing about the magic hallway with the mirrors of self-reflection in my first book for kids. And I remembered the time when in third grade, I was made fun of because I sat on a tack and didn't feel it. And all the kids, they said, your butt's so big, you didn't even feel the tack. Where in reality, the tack stuck in the seam. So it never touched my skin. But for a third grader, that was painful. And looking at it from the adult viewpoint in this magic hall of mirrors, I was able to laugh. I'm like, okay, now that I look back at it, it's kind of funny. So if you have this amazing but painful story to tell, know that you're going to find those monsters in the closet and need to conquer them. But when you pull them out of the closet and you start feeling the feels and you address it and you look at it from a different perspective, they're not monsters anymore. Now they're just funny stories.
Yeah, now they're just fun things to dress up as for Halloween. But I will also say that it helps as you're going through something like this, as you're working through something like this, to have safe spaces where you can go to get feedback about the things that you're discovering about yourself, or to help get a different perspective than what you've seen up to this point. And so I've been able to do that. I have masterminds, mentors, um, other safe collaborative spaces where I can creatively explore these kind of things. And I don't have to feel like it's going to get me, or I'm just going to give up or shove it back in there again. I know that I'm going to be able to heal and get through this in a way and with such confidence that I never have had before. And I know from my past experiences that the biggest difference between then and now is having those tight knit communities around me where you can express your creativity and who you really are. It's really important.
And that's what we are building in the Believe anthology. It's more than just a collection of people's stories. We are building a true community, and we're going to support each other through this process. And it doesn't stop with us as the authors. We have a editor who is going to be helping us with our grammar and our word style, and to make sure that what we're writing is understandable to the audience.
Thank
Then,
goodness for that.
right? And then once we get past the editing process, we have a publisher who is going to teach us how to market this, but not only market the book, but how to use the book to market ourselves so we get a bigger impact out of whatever our passion project is.
Yeah, I work with a lot of music industry professionals, and as a music artist, there are so many talented people out there. Um, it's hard to really differentiate yourself from everyone else out there. But one of the things I learned from auditioning for American Idol is in the second audition, you better have a really good story, or that's what's going to get you booted from the competition. Why? Because it makes it easier for them to go out and market you in a way that your story is going to stick in people's heads. And why is that going to happen? Because there's something in your story that someone else experienced, came close to experiencing, witnessed, is curious about, all of these things. And so when they hear you talking about it, it's going to stick with them, and it's going to be carried with them throughout the day, and they're going to think about you. Possibly even look you up later online, connect with you, these kind of things. So if you're looking to figure out, how do I stand out among all of these other people? Well, the key is you. You have all these different interests. The essence of you is unique compared to any other human being. And when you connect that with the people you find for your teams, that makes you really special. So how are you going to tell that story so that other people carry that story with them?
And you never know whose lives you're going to touch by simply telling your story. Because if I didn't tell my story to Heidi, we wouldn't be here talking to you today.
It's true.
And the more exciting part about this is we're going to be hearing stories from France. We already have one author from France joining our project, and she has a friend who might want to join us too. So think about this. You're going to be in an international bestseller book. How many people could say that as a first time author? And honestly, this is going to be my fourth anthology book. This will be my first time being an international bestseller.
Yeah.
Lots of
So
excitement. Lots of excitement.
I think so, Francine. So let's see. What do people need to know? Did you put a link in the chat about your upcoming workshops?
I put a link in the chat for the survey. I'm going to ask everyone to please take that survey, and then I will email you with more questions based on your answers to the survey. I'm trying to get a feel for where we're starting as a collective group so I could teach at the right level. I don't want to teach people who are at level 3 when they're only at level 1. And I also don't want to teach level 3s at the level 1 level because they'll get bored. So help me figure out what level you are starting at so I could tailor a course to your needs. And then there's going to be a lot of group sessions too, where beginners and the more advanced writers could come together because we could draw inspiration from each other. As a public speaker, I get some of my best feedback from newbie speakers because the speakers who are speaking on stage all the time, they're going to tell me to fix my lighting. They're going to tell me to adjust my camera. They're going to tell me to figure out what's causing all this weird lighting issues I'm having today. But the new speaker, they're going to listen to my words. They're going to tell me how my words make them feel. They're going to tell me that they liked how I raised my voice at a certain part of my speech. When we get together as a collective group and collaborate together in sharing our stories, I want the never written anything in their life before in the room with professional authors, because the professional authors sometimes forget that they're writing for people who don't know what they're talking about. And it's the people who've never written before to say, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
Ah, yes, the curse of knowledge.
Exactly. That's why masterminds, you have people from all different fields coming together, working on a common goal. And everybody's coming at it from their own knowledge. Like the accountant's looking at the numbers, and the creative is looking at the colors, and Heidi's looking at it. Ooh, that could be a good song. When we come together in our group, we're going to have musicians, we're going to have authors, we're going to have business people. The lady in France is starting her own business right now. Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be great for her to get feedback on the courses that she wants to teach?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and this is all what this group is about, because it's not just about writing a book. It's about helping all of us become more rounded so we can make a bigger impact in our own field.
And you might be thinking, this was the hurdle that I didn't talk about in my story. Where am I going to find time to do this? If you were listening carefully, I said I sit down for about 15 to 20 minutes every day and I write a little bit in the journal. That habit took a little bit of time for me to build. It was not consistent at the beginning. And so if you are curious about how you can get better at building certain habits, I've got a challenge that's coming up in the new year called the Root Cause Challenge.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, yeah. And so we're going to get to the bottom of some of these stories you've been telling yourself and see how they've been affecting you. And so I will have more details coming up about that challenge next week, but wanted to let you guys know that that was coming up.
And did you know that your brain is going to believe anything you tell it? So why not tell it good stuff, right?
That's right. And, you know, when you can catch yourself telling yourself those negative things, that's when you have the power to change it. And that is one small habit. Just takes a little practice. Now, before we go, Francine, I'm super excited. There's like one thing that I just have to,
Oh, yes.
I have to share. I'm so excited. For those of you that don't know, Tetron Productions put together a team for the 48-hour film project. I almost reversed it. The 84-hour. That would have made it way easier. But one weekend to write a story, put the whole thing together, film the whole thing, edit it, and have it turned in by Sunday. And we did it. And we held on to it for a little bit after the release, the showing, I should say, and now it is officially released. So I'm going to put in the chat for all of you to enjoy. Some of you heard me talking about this.
I just did that
2 months ago.
It's already there.
Oh, it's already there. Oh, it's already there. Francine's on top of it. So anyway, I leave you all with Prick and Lick. I hope you guys enjoy it in its ridiculousness. It was a whole lot of fun to put together. And that's what you can do with some collaboration and putting together a bunch of people with all of their creative skills and talents. So enjoy. And now it's time for the closing, huh, Francine?
It is time. Oh my gosh, that time went by so fast.
It did. It always does. Oh, speaking of which, join us in the community. Every day there's a new prompt. You can put a comment in there. It can get you into the habit of doing a little writing every day. Get you into writing your own story. Join us in the Believe Retreat community. And if you can conceive it, you can believe it, and you can achieve it.
From the head to the heart to the hands.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.